Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Wiriawan, and today I want to share how I edit my pictures in Adobe Lightroom Mobile. Intro. So really quickly today I just want to share a quick video about how I edit my pictures in Adobe Lightroom Mobile so that I can add some colors, contrast and pop into my images so that when I share it to other people they'll go like, wow, what a nice picture. So now let's switch camera so you can see what I'm doing on my phone. Alright, now before we get started, first thing that I want to show to you is my smartphone that I will use on today's video. This is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite from 2019. A very old phone and it's dirty and it's just ugly, but the point that I want to make is that you can use older smartphone. You don't have to use the flagship, newest, latest, greatest smartphone to be able to do this with Lightroom Mobile. And also I have to mention that this Adobe Lightroom Mobile that I have on my phone is the paid version, because I was also using Photoshop and Lightroom on my computer. Now let's get started. I have 3 pictures that I want to edit today. 2 of them will be landscape and 1 of them will be portrait. So let's start with the landscape picture first. So this picture right here, this is the lonely tree in Wanaka, New Zealand, taken using the Panasonic Lumix G85 and the mini telephoto lens Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. A great picture. It's missing a little bit of contrast and color right here and also a little bit of pop, but the overall composition I think it's already nice. First thing, usually I will go to the crop tab right here and try to adjust the horizon and the crop, but I don't think this picture needs that, so let's go ahead to edit. And first thing I want to do is go to the light tab. I want to increase the brightness just a little bit to extract more details from the image. So probably about plus 30, something like that. Not a whole lot. I want to increase the shadow. As you can see, by increasing the shadow, I can add some details into the trees right here. So yeah, I want to go a little bit more. I want to exaggerate the effect of the sunlight hitting the trees. I want to reduce a little bit of the highlight to recover a little bit of contrast from the sky. Right, looking good already. And then I want to add contrast into the image by adding whites. You know, using the white slider and paying attention to the histogram. About there. And then reduce the black. Alright, I'm not clipping anything so far. About there, yeah, pay attention to the histogram. I'm not using the contrast slider. I prefer the whites and blacks method to extract some contrast from my image. Now let's go into the effects and add a little bit of clarity, about plus 26, 27. Alright, we get some pop into the image. Now it starts to look good, but I want to also add dehaze to add even more contrast and color into the image, about plus 30. Yeah, because it was taken from a distance, so I'm not really worried about going overboard with this one. I want to increase the shadow just a little bit more, and yep, that is perfect. Now let's reduce a little bit of, you know, a noise reduction, about plus 5, and increase the detail to about 70. And then let's also add a little bit sharpening. The standard amount is 40. I'm fine with that. I want to increase the detail and the masking. You know, masking is going to prevent the sharpening to enhance details on places that don't need sharpening, like the surface of water or the sky. So yeah, already looking great. So this is after the adjustment and this is before the adjustment. As you can see, quite a difference. Plenty of contrast and plenty of colors after we adjust the image in Lightroom Mobile. Alright, Alright, so second picture is a portrait of my wife right here, taken using my Leica M8.2. So this is the raw picture. Yeah, with portrait it's a little bit different from a landscape picture. We don't want to go overboard with the contrast and with the colors because we want to make it look as natural as possible. So yeah, first thing first, I'm gonna adjust the crop first and also leveling of the image, the horizon, all that stuff. So yeah, already I can see it's a little bit tilted. I wanna try to adjust it just a little bit, not a whole lot. About there. I wanna adjust the crop as well. Oh wow, we need to lock the aspect ratio. Alright, and about that. Yep, looks good. I'm happy with the crop and the leveling. Now let's go into the edit tab and go into light. First thing first, I want to add a little bit of exposure to make it slightly brighter. About plus 30 something. Yep, looks good. Just a little bit of shadow. Not a whole lot. I'm not reducing highlight because we don't really need the details on the background or that kind of stuff. All we're concerned about is the face of my wife and, you know, the human aspect of the image. So I'm adding a little bit of white to add just a tiny bit of contrast. I'm decreasing the blacks a little bit more, paying attention to the histogram, making sure I'm not clipping anything. So about there, I think looks good. Alright, now let's go into the effects. Add a little bit of clarity, not too much because if it's too much then it's gonna look unnatural, especially for portrait. We don't really want that. Plus 20. Dehaze just a little bit to reduce the, you know, bland looking kind of, contrast. I want to add just a little bit more contrast into the image and already it starts to look good. Now what I want to do that I didn't do on the previous image is adding a little bit of vignette to draw the attention more into the center of the frame rather than to the edges of the image. So yeah, just a tiny bit of vignette. I'm going to reduce the midpoint so the vignette goes closer to the center and then feather it out so that the vignette is not too obvious. Looking good so far. I'm going to add sharpening just a little bit, detail probably about plus 50 something, and then masking, making sure that things that don't need to be sharpened are not sharpened, maybe a little bit more. A noise reduction, I want to add a little bit extra on this one, even though this was taken using a full frame camera. It's an older full frame camera and it's kind of noisy even though it's shot at low ISO. So yeah, something like this. Already it looks good in my opinion. So this is after the adjustment. This is before the adjustment. With portrait, it's more about the contrast rather than the colors. I'm not trying to go overboard. I just want to enhance what already looks good in this image. Last but not least is this picture right here of the Kick You Fell Force taken in Iceland in 2022 using my smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. This was not taken using a dedicated camera and this is also JPEG, not RAW. The point that I want to make is that if you're taking pictures using your smartphone, you can still use Lightroom Mobile to add some colors, contrast, and pop into your image easily. So first thing first, we're gonna go into the crop, make sure that everything's leveled. I know that this is a little bit tilted, so I wanna try to adjust that just a little bit, you know, about 1 degree to the left or something. Yep. All right, looks good now. So now let's go into the edit and light. So first thing first, I wanna add a little bit more shadow. I don't think we need to reduce the highlight because the details on the sky is already there. We don't really need to extract more details from that. But I want to increase a little bit of the whites. Oh, sorry, not the black, the whites. All right, make it tiny bit more contrasty, especially on the brighter parts. I don't really want to reduce the blacks right now I still want to increase the shadow just a little bit more to get more details from the waterfall. All right, looks good. So now I'm going to go into the effects. As usual, adding a little bit of clarity, not a whole lot, and dehaze. About plus 20, so we can start to see more contrast popping out from the image. Wow, looks nice. At this point, because this was JPEG, there are already some noise reduction and sharpening going on. I don't want to add more into those, but what I want to do is I want to try to increase a little bit of, warmth in the foreground area, because now it looks a little bit bluish, which is not really what my eyes see when I was taking this picture. So let's go to the masking tool and add a linear gradient masking tool. So let's try to draw it. Something like this. All right. Let's increase it just a little bit. We just want the foreground area to be affected by this masking tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some warmth using the temperature, the color edit here. So let's add a little bit more temperature. So as you can see, if I'm going overboard, you can see that the foreground is becoming yellowish, more warm. That's what I really want, but I don't want it too much that it starts to look unnatural. So probably about plus 35 here, plus 36 or thereabouts. I want to adjust the area being affected by this masking tool. Okay, about there. All right, and I think we're done. So before it was a little bit dark and there's that blue cast on the foreground, which I don't really like. And then after the adjustment, it's more contrasty. The colors are popping and there are more details. So yeah, that's it. That wraps up today's video. So that is a quick tutorial on how to use Adobe Lightroom Mobile to enhance your pictures quickly, whether it's taken using dedicated camera or using your smartphone's camera. I hope this has been helpful, informative, and useful. Please comment down below. What software do you use to edit your pictures? Also, if you have any question about this video, comment down as well. I will try my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, consider using the affiliate links on the description below or use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.